Imagine you are managing a massive sports bar on a Sunday. You've got football on the main screens and maybe golf in the corner and a really competitive dart tournament happening by the bar.
Right. It's just total chaos.
Exactly. It's like being a frantic traffic cop at a 10-way intersection trying to route the right game to the right screen. So today, we are diving into the brains behind that operation, which is a piece of gear from HDTV Supply called the WolfPack 4K Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Our mission in this deep dive is to basically decipher the spec sheet and figure out how this massive tech beast actually works for you.
Yeah, it is the perfect example to look at, honestly, because, when you get into systems this complex, you aren't just buying wires and plugs.
Right, you need a system that actually solves a problem.
Exactly. You are buying engineering solutions. And the core theme we see in this WolfPack device is really the art of engineering clever compromises, like figuring out how to avoid the astronomical costs that usually come with commercial systems.
Okay, let's unpack this because looking at the fine print, the manufacturer's own marketing feels, well, a bit misleading.
So,
Well, the product is literally called an 8x16 HDMI matrix. But then they admit it is not a quote-unquote true 8x16 matrix. So why the spin?
well, that is exactly where the clever compromise comes in. A true 8x16 matrix means you have like 8 inputs, say cable boxes, and 16 entirely independent screens.
Meaning I could send any single input to any single screen with zero restrictions, right?
Spot on, but a true 8x16 matrix costs over $7,000. That is a massive budget hit for a business.
Yeah, wow. So how are they getting the price down by like $4,000?
So they use an 18x18 chassis, but they actually configure it as an 8x8 matrix. The trick here is that each of the 8 output cards has 2 identical mirrored HDMI ports.
Wait, so you get 16 physical outputs, but they operate in pairs.
Exactly. You are sending the exact same picture to 2 screens at the exact same time.
But hold on, if I am mirroring outputs, I am stuck showing the exact same game on 2 screens. Isn't that a huge limitation if a customer wants a really specific game on a certain screen?
I mean, if you need total independence, yes. But this is the 80-20 rule in full effect. Think about a sports bar. Chances are you have adjacent screens playing the same primary game anyway.
Oh, right, like wrapping around a center bar.
Yeah, exactly. They are identifying the exact threshold of your needs and basically stripping away the expensive 20% of functionality you probably won't use. Another great example of this is the video quality itself. It delivers 4K resolution, but it tops out at a 30 hertz refresh rate.
Wait, 30 hertz is a notoriously low refresh rate for fast-paced sports. I mean, you would normally want 60 hertz so the football doesn't look blurry when it's thrown.
You would, yeah. But doing 4K at 60 hertz across 16 screens requires wildly expensive processing power.
Ah, okay, so 30 hertz is a totally intentional cost-saving choice.
Precisely. It might not satisfy an ultra-purist in a dedicated home theater, but for a crowded bar where people are just glancing up between conversations, it works perfectly fine.
That makes a lot of sense. But that brings me to how someone actually operates this thing. The manual says it is a 4U rack-mountable beast.
Right, it's huge.
Yeah, it's the size of a microwave and lives in a hot server closet somewhere. So how does a busy bartender actually use it? Looking at the specs, you have free iPad apps, a built-in 7-inch color touchscreen, third-party RS-232 scripts, Control4 integration. I mean, it's like having 20 different steering wheels for one car. Why so many control options?
What's fascinating here is how the manufacturer caters to completely different users. Think of it like a restaurant kitchen.
Okay, how so?
Well, the touchscreen or the iPad app is like a self-service kiosk. That is what the bartender uses to quickly tap and switch the game while pouring beers.
That makes sense. Just an easy visual interface.
Right. But those third-party systems like Control4, that is essentially a universal remote system for an entire commercial building.
Okay, so the raw RS-232 code the manual provides, that is like walking into the kitchen and telling the chef exactly how to cook the meal.
Exactly. The manual tells you that if you want to switch input 8 to outputs 1, 8, and 16, you just type the command 8x1 ampersand 8 ampersand 16 into the terminal.
Oh, wow, so they are just handing you the keys to write your own software.
Yep, but that is strictly for the high-end AV installer setting it up behind the scenes.
It is incredible how industrial grade this is. Yet, amidst all this raw code and processing power, the human element still manages to shine through. I mean, looking at the customer reviews, they aren't just praising the hardware.
They are raving about the support, right?
Exactly, specifically about stellar support from a rep named Rachel.
Which highlights a crucial reality of commercial AV. You can build the most advanced matrix in the world, but every single bar or restaurant's wiring is uniquely messy.
So true. It's never a clean setup.
Never. And because the environments are so chaotic, human troubleshooting isn't just a nice bonus, it is mechanically necessary to make the hardware actually function in the real world.
So taking a step back here, the WolfPack 4K is essentially a masterclass in efficiency. It's delivering exactly what commercial spaces need most, while cleverly mirroring outputs and capping refresh rates to save thousands of dollars.
It really proves that the best engineering solution isn't always the most powerful one. It is simply the one that perfectly matches the reality of how it will be used.
Which leaves you with a really interesting question to ponder today. In a modern world where we are totally obsessed with having ultimate individualized control over every single digital screen in our lives, where else could we save massive amounts of time, energy, and money by simply accepting a mirrored or shared experience?